So how did the first copies of the New Testament make it around the world? And how did they put these books together? Remember, churches back then didn't have digital tablets or email. They didn't even have copy machines. All they had were pens, papyrus, animal skins. Early churches kept their original copies of the New Testament texts until they wore out. Around the year 200, a really important church leader named Tertullian told how the churches in Corinth, Philippi, Thessalonica, Ephesus, Rome still had the original letters that Paul had sent them. By that time, these letters were 150 years old. But no matter how well they took care of the letters, they couldn't last forever. And that's why early Christians made copies of these letters. Remember, no e-readers, no emails, no copy machines, no printing presses. Only papyrus, reeds, ink, and animal skins. Copies made by hand. So what did churches do with these copies? Well, they kept their copies in special book chests in the homes of members. If one church didn't have a particular letter, a nearby congregation might loan their copy of the text so that that church could have its own copy too. When a writing passed from one church to another, each church also passed on an oral tradition, an oral history, a story about where this text came from. The tradition traced the text all the way back to an eyewitness of Jesus, so they knew exactly whose authority this text represented. Today, scholars have discovered more than 5,600 ancient pieces of the New Testament. That's more fragments and full manuscripts than any other text in the entire ancient world. More than Plato, more than Aristotle, more than Homer. The earliest of these New Testament fragments comes from about the year 100 when eyewitnesses of the risen Jesus were still alive. So why is this so important? Well, even though the men and women who copied the scriptures were so careful, they sometimes made some mistakes. And yet, because there are so many copies of the New Testament, scholars can compare the texts and figure out what words the authors originally wrote. You see, God has preserved His Word in such a way that the message we possess today is without any doubt the same message He inspired so long ago.